Hello student, in today's session we will discuss our first unit of that elective one, that is advanced forming and joining process. Okay, the first unit is name of first unit is mechanics of the sheet metal forming. Okay, so first of all we will see what is mean by forming process. Forming process. So forming is the process in which we will convert the sheet metal into the required part or any material into the required part by application of the force. Suppose this is my sheet metal, okay, and I want to convert this sheet metal into this cup size or this cup shape. Okay, so how can we convert this sheet metal into this cup shape? We will suppose this sheet, we will apply the force by using a punch, and then we can convert this is into the our required shape. Suppose this is my sheet metal, and okay, and here is the some stopper or wheel, and here is our stop. Okay. So when we apply some force on this punch, and due to this force, this metal is moved in this die, and we will get this required shape. So this type of the process is called as the forming process. There are some advantages of forming process, that here in this forming process the material wastage is less. If we consider in a manufacturing that we have to convert the material or a part into the required shape, then in this case suppose we consider turning process in which material wastage is there, but in forming process the less material wastage is occur. Less material wastage is occur. So these are some means less wastage of the material. The time required for this process is less. Okay. This is applicable only for some specific products only. This process is not applicable for everywhere. Suppose this is the rod, and I want, and diameter of this rod is suppose 10 mm, and I want to convert this rod in this shape. Here diameter is 10, here diameter is 5. Then this forming process is not applicable here. So only the forming process are only applicable for the sheet metals or some rods to convert it into the required shape. Suppose I want to convert, suppose this is a rod, and I want to this rod in this shape. So by using the bending process, I can convert this rod into this shape. Okay. So it has some limitations also, that it will only applicable some processes only. Okay. So this is called as the forming process. So what is the criteria or what are the different forming processes? First of all, we will discuss what is meant by formability. Formability. What is meant by formability? Formability is the ability of the material to get formed into the required shape, or to get into form into the required shape. Suppose this is my sheet metal. Okay, this is my sheet metal, and I will convert this sheet metal into this shape. This sheet metal into this shape. Okay. This, suppose this is made up of the iron. Okay, and when we apply some forces or we apply some forming process on it or manufacturing process on it, then it will convert into this shape. But if suppose same sheet is made up of the glass, this same sheet is made up of the glass, and I want to convert this sheet into this size or this shape. Sorry, this shape. Suppose this sheet is made up of the glass, and I want to convert this sheet, same sheet, into this shape, U shape. We cannot convert this shape by using some forces on it. We unable to convert this into this shape because of the glass don't have a forming ability to form the required shape. This form we cannot convert this sheet into this shape. So if I want to convert the same sheet of the glass into this shape, then I want to require to this melt this glass, then pour into this casting part, and by using casting process we can convert this shape into this U shape. But if same sheet is made up of the metal, suppose we consider it is made up of the steel, then we can directly convert by application of the some processes, manufacturing process, into the U shape. So this ability of the material is called as the formability. Okay. The next one is the elasticity and plasticity. Elasticity and plasticity. All we know that what is meant by elastic material, what is meant by plastic, and elasticity and plasticity. Elasticity means what? When we apply some force on any material, it changes its shape and size. It changes its shape and size, and when we remove that forces, this material convert into its original shape, or it returns to its original shape. Suppose this is a rubber band, and when we apply some force on it, then it becomes like this. Okay? When we apply forces on it, it becomes like this. But when we remove these forces, then this material returns to its original shape and size. Return to its original shape and size, then it is called as the elasticity. But when we apply some force on it, and this material will not return to its original position, then it is called as the plasticity. All we know that the stress strain diagram for a ductile material. Here is stress, here is strain. Okay. So when we apply some force on a material, the portion O to A is called as the elastic region. When we apply the force on a material, when it passes from A to B, then it converts into its plastic state. Means when it reaches to this point B, the material will not reaches to its original shape. When we remove the forces from the material, when we apply the force on a material and the force is reaches to point B, then the material will not come to its original position. Then this is called as the plasticity. Okay, and this point B is called as the plastic point. Okay, so when we want to convert our sheet metal into required shape, then material should be, or force applied on the material should be greater than this point B. This force applied on the material should be greater than B. Otherwise, if this force is less than B, then this material will again return to its original position. Okay, so that's why when we apply the forces on a material while forming processes, these force should be greater than this plastic state or this point B means in forming processes the material will or force apply on the material is above the plastic point. Okay. First of all, we will discuss some forming processes. Forming processes. So what are the different forming processes? The first one is the rolling. The first forming process is a rolling. What is meant by rolling? Suppose this is my sheet metal and initially it has a thickness of Ti. Initially it has a thickness Ti and I want to reduce its thickness to To. Okay, I want to reduce its thickness To. Then this sheet metal is passing through the rolls. Passing through the roll. Suppose this is the roll 1 and this is the roll. Means when this sheet of the thickness Ti is passing through this roll, it converts it into our required size, that is To. Then this process is called as the rolling process. It is a one type or it is the first type of the forming process, that is rolling. In rolling, we will pass the sheet metal, our sheet metal, through the rolls that are rolling, okay, and then this sheet is converted into our required size is called as the rolling process. In rolling process, out of these two rolls, the one roll is fixed and one roll is adjustable. The one roll is fixed and one roll is adjustable. Why this adjustable roll is there? Because when to adjust this size, suppose this is initially its thickness is 50 mm and I want to convert it into 40 to 30 mm. Means I want the sheets of the metal in a range of 40, 30, 32, 34, 35, 36, like this. Then by adjusting the adjustable roller, we can adjust the gap between these two rollers and according to this we will get our output sheet. So there is one roller is provided, one is a fixed roller and another one is the adjustable. Okay, this is the first process, first forming process. Second forming process is drawing. Second forming process is a drawing. So what is meant by drawing? That suppose this is my sheet and I want to convert this sheet into the, suppose like this, I want to flat it, then suppose this is my raw material and I want to reduce its size, then here material is passed through this die and pull force is applied on it, and due to this pull, this material is passes through this die, and due to this force, the size of this raw material is converted into our required shape. So this is called as the drawing process. There is another one process that is called as deep drawing. The third one is a deep drawing. What is mean by deep drawing? That so this is die and this is punch. Die and punch. Okay. When we apply the force on this sheet will pass through this die and we will get the required shape. So this process is called as the deep drawing. Okay. Now there is another process, that is forging process. There is another one process called as the forging process. So what is mean by forging? Suppose this is my required material and I want to reduce its size. I want to reduce its size, or I want to convert this material into this shape. I want to convert this material into this shape. Then this is a die and this is punch. When we apply the force on this material, then this material will flow in this cavity and remaining part will remain here. So this is called as the drawing process. And here this die and punch are closing, so it is called as a closed die. Closed die. And suppose I want to convert, this is the raw material. And I want to convert this into this one. Okay. So for this purpose only, this is my die and this is my punch. I will apply the force on a punch and then this raw material is converted into finished product. So this process is called as the forming process. This process is called as the forming process. Okay. We have discussing up to now we will discuss 4 processes. That is, first one is rolling, second one is the deep drawing, third one is the drip drawing, fourth one is the forging process. Now we will discuss that is another one process called it as a bending process. Bending. So what is meant by bending? Suppose this is my raw material and I want to convert this material into this shape. So how we can convert this? This is punch. Okay. So when we apply the force on a punch, this material will get in our required step. So it is called as the bending process. The sixth process is extrusion. Extrusion process. So what is mean by extrusion? It is similar to that of our injection. There is die and punch, and when we apply the force on a punch, the material will passing through the die. But here we apply the compressive force. Let us see. In drawing process we apply here pull force, but in extrusion process we applying the force here. We applying the force here, and due to this applied force, this material will move in this side. This material will move in this side, and this process is called as the extrusion. Means this is a die. And here is a punch, and we apply the force here. Here is my punch, and we apply the force on a punch, and due to this compressive force, this material will passing through this opening, and we will get the material in our required shape. So these are the some conventional forming process. Conventional forming processes. The first one is the rolling. The second one is drawing, third one is deep drawing, fourth one is the forging process, next one is the bending process, sixth one is the extrusion process. These are the some forming processes. Okay. Now we will discuss the next part, that is yield criteria. Yield criteria for a plastic deformation. Yield criteria for a plastic deformation. Okay. So all of we know that when we want to convert our sheet metal into the cup shape, that the force applied on a sheet metal should be a greater than some limiting value, and so that this material cannot be comes to its original position. The material cannot be comes to its original position. This criteria is called as the criteria of the plastic deformation. Okay. Or the stresses applied on the material should be a greater than the yield stress. The stresses applied on the material should be a greater than yield stress but less than the fracture stress. To convert or to form for a forming processes, the stresses induced in a material is called the shear stresses, and these applied stresses should be a greater than
or it should be limited up to the yield shear stress but should not be greater than the fracture stress. Okay, so this is the criteria for plastic deformation. Here there are two criteria for plastic deformation. The first criteria is Tresca's maximum shear stress. There are two main criteria for the plastic deformation of the material. The first one is the Tresca's maximum shear stress criteria. What this criteria is state, the plastic deformation in the material is initiated. What is it stated that the plastic deformation in a material will initiated when shear stress induced in a material is reaches to its limiting value. Shear stress, maximum shear stress in the material is reaches to its limiting value, and this limiting value is called as the shear stress. This limiting value is called as the yield shear stress. What I will again explain. What the Tresca's maximum shear stress criteria suggested that the plastic deformation in a material is initiated, means the plastic deformation in the material will start when it will start that the stresses developed in applied stresses developed in a material reaches to its limiting value. Means what? The applied stresses on the material, the amount of stresses that we applied on a material reaches to its limiting value. Means when the applied stresses is reaches to the yield shear stress, then plastic deformation will start. Plastic deformation start. I will again explain. This criteria is suggested that when the plastic deformation will start in the material, according to this criteria, the plastic deformation in a material will start when applied stresses is reaches to its yield shear stress. Okay, let us consider tau max is the maximum shear stress. Tau max is the maximum shear stress. Sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma 3 are principal shear stress. Principal stresses. These are the principal stresses. And here is condition that sigma 1 is greater than sigma 2 is greater than sigma 3. Okay, sigma 1 is greater than sigma 2 is greater than sigma 3, and we will consider here K is a yield shear stress. Yield shear stress. So, according to this Tresca's maximum shear stress criteria, we know that tau max is equal to 1/2 into sigma 1 minus sigma. If we see here, sigma 1 is the maximum shear stress, maximum principal stress, and sigma 3 is the minimum principal stress. And we have, according to this criteria, we know we have this tau max, maximum shear stress induced in a material, is equal to sigma 1 minus sigma 3. Okay, and what this criteria is state that to initiate the plastic deformation in the material, to initiate the plastic deformation in the material, maximum shear stress in a material or the stresses that we applied on the material is greater than or equal to that of the yield shear stress, and so that according to this criteria K is equal to 1/2 into sigma 1 minus sigma 3. Sigma 1 minus sigma 3. Okay. So stress का maximum shear stress criteria. What this criteria is said that the plastic deformation in a material will initiate when maximum shear stress value is reaches to its limiting value, and this limiting value is called as the yield shear stress. And we have a formula for maximum shear stress is equal to tau max is equal to 1/2 into sigma 1 minus sigma 3, and according to this criteria K is equal to 1/2 into sigma 1 minus sigma 3, where sigma 1 and sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma 3 are principal stresses. Okay, and if we see here yield shear stress K is equal to 1/2 into sigma 1 minus sigma 3, that this yield stress will not depend on intermediate principal stress. Means this sigma 1 is a maximum principal stress, this sigma 3 is a minimum principal stress, and this sigma 2 is the intermediate principal stress. And from this criteria we can say that the yield stress or yield shear stress in a material will not depend on intermediate principal stress. Yield shear stress in a material will not depend on a intermediate principal stress. This is the first criteria for the plastic deformation of the material. Now we will discuss that the second criteria for a plastic deformation of the material. So, the second plastic deformation of the material criteria is von Mises maximum distortion energy criteria. Von Mises is the name of scientist, that is maximum distortion energy criteria. Okay, maximum distortion energy criteria. So, according to these criteria, epsilon is equal to sigma g into sigma 1 minus sigma 2 bracket square plus sigma 2 minus sigma 3 bracket square plus sigma 3 minus sigma 1 bracket square. Here epsilon is used, that is 1 by 6g into sigma 1 minus sigma 2 minus sigma 3, that is sigma 1 minus sigma 2 bracket square plus sigma 2 minus sigma 3 bracket square plus sigma 3 minus sigma 1 bracket square. First of all, we will see what this criteria is stated that. What this criteria is stated that? This criteria is stated that the plastic deformation in a material is initiated. The plastic deformation in a material is initiated when shear strain energy reaches to its critical value. Shear strain energy. Shear stress energy in a material reaches to its critical value, and this epsilon is shear strain energy per unit volume. This epsilon is shear strain energy per unit volume.
What is G is modulus of shear or shear modulus. And sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma 3 are the principal stresses. Principal stresses. So, according to the von Mises maximum distortion energy theory or energy criteria, what this criteria stated that the plastic deformation in a material will initiated when, or to initiate the plastic deformation in a material, the shear strain energy reaches to its critical value. That is, the shear strain energy in a material, when it reaches to its critical value, the plastic deformation of the material will start, and we consider that is, suppose A is this critical value. A is this shear stress energy critical value. We consider that this A is that critical value of shear strain energy. Okay. So, according to this, A is equal to 1 by 6G into sigma 1 minus sigma 2 bracket square plus sigma 2 minus sigma 3 bracket square plus sigma 3 minus sigma 1 bracket square. Okay. According to this von Mises maximum distortion energy theory, that this A is a critical value and this A is equal to 1 upon 6G into sigma 1 minus sigma 2 bracket square plus sigma 2 minus sigma 3 bracket square plus sigma 3 minus sigma 1 bracket square, where sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma 3 are the principal stresses. Therefore, 6A into G is equal to, we consider this is equal to constant, because this A is a critical value and this critical value of the shear strain energy, this A is constant for any material. This A is constant. Suppose we consider steel, then it is constant. Suppose we call A for the cast iron, then this A is constant for a cast iron. So all this 6 Ag is constant and it is equal to sigma 1 minus sigma 2 bracket square plus sigma 2 minus sigma 3 bracket square plus sigma 3 minus sigma 1. Okay. And this is the equation, or this is the formula according to the von Mises maximum distortion energy or energy criteria. If we see here that this critical value or the plastic deformation of the material will initiated when shear strain energy in a material reaches to its critical value, that it will depend on sigma 1 also, it will depend on sigma 2 also, and it will depend on sigma 3 also. Means plastic deformation of the material will depend on all the three principal stresses. According to this maximum distortion energy criteria, or according to the von Mises maximum distortion energy criteria, that the plastic deformation of the material will depend on all the principal stresses, that is sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma 3. But according to the Tresca's maximum shear stress theory, the plastic deformation of the material only depend on minimum and maximum principal stress. It will not depend on the intermediate principal stress. Okay, so these are the yield criteria for plastic deformation of the material. Okay, so it is enough for today's session. We will discuss the next part of this unit in the next.